General Mills, makers of Cheerios with the goodness of nutritious oats, and Betty Crocker and 8 new Betty Crocker Country Kitchen cake mixes. General Mills presents The Secret Storm.
Getting ready to leave the office, Brian.
Yes, I want to get a haircut and I have some errands.
Will I see you later?
No, Lucy, I have a dinner appointment.
Oh.
I'd rather not make any definite time afterwards. I don't want to feel rushed through the evening. So if you are in, I may be able to give you a call. I think it's best not to count on it, though.
It's funny. I don't even have the right of a wife to feel jealous, do I?
There's no reason to be jealous. I'm simply having dinner with the Dunbars.
Dunbars? You mean your friends? They're speaking to you after everything that's happened?
Well, obviously, if Susan asked me to dinner, we're still speaking. Now, look, it's too late in the day and it's too warm to start raising issues.
I'm not going to bother you, Brian, in any way. That's how you seem to think of me these days, as a nuisance.
Darling, you know that's not true. Now, the past month hasn't been easy on either of us. I've had a lot of things on my mind, so many loose ends.
Like the Dunbars? All your loose ends seem to tie up with Pauline, don't they?
Now, it's no news to you that I'm doing everything I can to prepare for some sort of reconciliation. I don't have much time. She's going to be back next week.
And then you go back to her.
Well, there's one big if standing in the way. If she'll have me.
But I'm not standing in your way, am I, Brian?
Darling, you don't seem to realize I wouldn't have a cent to my name, my reputation, my job at the store even. It wouldn't last 5 minutes unless I could persuade Pauline to forgive me.
What about my forgiveness? Taking a lot for granted.
That was different. I loved you.
Loved me? Brian, does that mean it's over?
Darling, however much the future separates us, you'll always have a place in my heart.
Now you're talking about separation.
Well, you knew this was coming. I told you.
I knew that you were going back to Pauline for just a little while, until you could find some other way for us to be together.
All right, I can only do one thing at a time.
Then you're not working for us anymore. But don't you think I can see the difference? Every plan, every scheme is in terms of you and Pauline.
You don't seem to realize that we've just escaped disaster, the nearest thing to total financial ruin.
Well, there are other kinds of ruin.
Lucy, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to throw this offer back in Peter Ames' face? He's only keeping me on at the office now because of some sort of consideration for Pauline. Because he thinks that maybe Pauline may want our marriage to go on.
You used to talk so bravely.
Well, do you think it would be braver to give up? Did you want me to go to prison to prove my love for you? Darling, this has been part of my life I'll never forget. One of the most wonderful parts, but I have no right to kid you about what may be in front of us. Lucy, look at me. We're in for a change. How do I know whether that change will be for a short time or...
Forever?
Maybe real love is always doomed. Certainly, we're not the first two people to ever run into problems.
You want me to wait and let the future take its course?
I don't have the right to ask you to do that. You're too young, too pretty to sit out the years for me.
Years? Brian, is that what you've been talking about? Tell me, Brian. Honestly. I'd rather have the truth no matter how painful.
My brave little Lucy. I don't think I've ever loved you more than I do right this minute. I've admired you more for your composure. You helped me to be strong.
You don't need anybody's help but God's. Maybe it's too late for that.
Lucy.
Brian, you better hurry. You're going to be late for your appointment.
I don't want to leave you like this.
I'm all right. This really isn't news to me. Very much of a shock anymore. Just go. Please go.
I'll see you in the morning, darling. If I get a chance, I'll call you after I get finished with the Dunbars. Lucy? Take care, darling.
Susan, you home?
I'm out here, Alan. You're home early.
Well, with this warm weather, we decided to close an hour earlier. My, you look mighty pretty.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, seeing as I've had a little time to rest and take a shower, how would you like to go to the club for dinner tonight? We'd get a nice breeze there along the
Everything
way.
is all cooked.
Oh, want to keep till tomorrow?
Well, I haven't done anything about a babysitter. Besides, the table is all set.
Well, 3 plates. We're having company.
Yes.
Your dad coming?
No. I was in the office this afternoon. It seems that Amy's in town for the day, so Dad's taking her out to dinner.
Well, it's too bad we can't join them.
Oh, and interfere with their little duet over Myra? You should hear the two of them singing her praises. Do you know that she has actually persuaded that child to haul a typewriter up to Spruce Lake? Heaven knows why, unless Myra can't be bothered scribbling her own letters anymore.
Susan, that's silly.
Well, I might have expected you to defend her.
I'm not defending anyone, darling. In the first place, I don't know anything about it, but I don't see that any reason for you to blame Myra.
Alan, I told you, Amy...
All right, I'm going to take my shower.
Don't use any of the guest towels.
You still haven't told me who's coming to dinner. Friend of the family?
No, not a friend of the family. He's one of the family.
Who, Susan?
Now, don't get all excited before I tell you what happened. While I was at the store yesterday, waiting for Dad, Brian Fuller came into his office.
Do you mean to tell me that you and...
I didn't go looking for him. He just happened to walk in.
So you had to invite him to the house for dinner?
No, I didn't. He invited me out to lunch.
Well, that's nice and chummy. After lifting $150,000 from Tyrrell's, I suppose he could afford to take you to lunch.
Let's not go through that rigmarole again. I happen to have a few of the facts now.
What, straight from the horse's mouth?
Even you admit that all that money's been replaced.
You know, Susan, I can't make you out. You were the one who carried on about Brian. The way he was acting at Tyrrell's, the way he treated Pauline. Suddenly, you're on his side.
I'm on Aunt Pauline's side. Apparently, everybody has decided that Brian deserves another chance for Pauline's sake. Isn't that why Dad's keeping him on at the store? That, plus the fact that there really isn't much of a case against Brian.
He must have talked a great lunch.
He hardly said a word in his own defense, but I was able to draw some conclusions of my own.
Mainly how charming it would be to have him here to dinner. I'm surprised you didn't invite Lucy Stokes, too.
Now, don't you set yourself up as holier than thou, Alan Dunbar. Brian isn't the first married man to look at another woman.
So we're back to that, are we?
Did you expect me to forget it, just because a little time has passed?
What I expected. And what's happening to our marriage. Well, I guess I'll go take my shower.
It's such a pleasant evening, I thought we might eat out here.
Oh, how nice this is. Oh, I hope this goes with your dinner.
Oh, thank you.
If it doesn't, save it for some other time.
Oh, no, we'll have it tonight.
It doesn't need to be chilled. It's very light and slightly sweet. I thought you might prefer it that way.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be lovely. Sit down, won't you?
Alan home?
He'll be with us in a minute.
Susan, I hope this didn't cause any domestic difficulty.
Oh, don't be silly. Husbands and wives may not always agree on everything, but...
But in an emergency, they can agree to agree.
Well, this is hardly an emergency.
No, of course not. It's just a kind deed. Very big favor to me, Susan. Pauline and I won't forget it. Oh, good evening.
Hello.
Feeling cooler, Alan, after your shower?
Much cooler.
Well, I'll leave you two for a second and take a look at the oven. I think the roast must be about ready.
Anything I can do?
No, thank you. I'll be just a minute.
Alan, I don't imagine you relish my being here at the house.
Forget it.
I just want you to know that I don't intend to impose upon Susan's generous gesture. I'm glad to be here and help keep the family picture at least superficially intact, at least until Pauline gets back. We're all agreed that that is the best way, aren't we?
Yes, I suppose so.
will you look at that sky? Moonlight is really something special around here, isn't it? Fine place to live, Woodbridge. Good climate, good people,
Dinner is all ready.
and good food. Who could ask for more?
The Secret Storm has been brought to you by General Mills, home of Betty Crocker and 8 new Betty Crocker Country Kitchen Cake Mixes. For cake that tastes as rich, keeps as fresh as homemade butter cake.